Hello and welcome to Cut to Reveal podcast. My name is Ricky.
And I'm Piotr, and we're here to discuss all the hurdles that come with career path of film and video editor.
That's right. From a freelancer perspective, because that's what we are. We're freelance.
Exactly. And today's topic is actually the one that we first did discuss in one of the live sessions in the Editing Chef. And it's about what do you do to transition from working for free for a given client to getting paid.
That's right. It's something that if you're a freelance editor, you kind of are faced with, where when you're trying to get new clients anyway, where you're kind of doing a little bit to get a lot in the end. So kind of a general topic of interest.
Yeah. Ricky, how many times have you worked for like a real client, not like a colleague or a friend, but a real client for free? Have you worked for free for a client?
If I have, I don't remember anymore. It's been so long. So I don't know that I can say that I have. It's mostly been what I would call like independent people, where it's like, I need your help on this. I am an independent business owner, or I am somebody that just needs something done. Can you help me out at this point? And then in the future, I'll have more for you. So I'm going to say no. I haven't worked with anybody corporate that's offered me to work with them for free initially. Have you?
Yeah.
Have you worked for anybody like that?
Me neither. Like even when I started, and I wasn't trying to do it. Neither were you. So I was supposed to be a civil engineer. But even when I started and I got my first clients, I got paid. Like I don't know. I think it's just a matter of like setting expectations very early on. But there are exceptions. There are exceptions. And even though it looks like we don't have much experience with working for free, I think like there are exceptions that you can take. And I mean, it doesn't mean I haven't done any editing for free, because I even done it this year. At the beginning of this year, I edited this short film I've mentioned already in here called Little Bird. That I didn't get paid for. I mean, I did got some kind of like, return on investment, so to speak, and we'll mention it on that aspect a little bit later. So I saw value in it, and that's kind of essential. But I didn't get any money to do it. So, but other than that, it's very rarely that I would do anything for free, and if I do it, it's usually a passion project, basically. And I guess that's what I want to start with. That what are the rules, like basically for working for free? I touched on the topic a little bit in one of the latest videos on Cut to the Point channel, where I talk about the 10 things I've learned as a freelance editor.
Yeah.
And one of them is that sometimes it's okay to work for free. And basically the rule in my opinion is that, it has to be something that you would be willing to work for free, even if no one would ask no one would ask you to do it.
Right.
So you would be
like
the
one. Passion.
Yeah, exactly. You would be the one like, raising your hand, pick me, I'll do it for free because I just like the thing.
Right, for sure. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely how, I mean, I've worked on a bunch of those projects too that, turned into something more. Stuff like that is more about relationships usually, or just like you're excited about the topic or working with those people, and then you do it, and then either that solidifies your relationship with those people, or you can then maybe take that product and turn around and sell it. But yeah, I can't tell you how many passion projects I've worked on. So.
Yeah, I mean, some people say that working for free is like, spoiling the market that you work in. And while I understand where it comes from, this concern, I also kind of disagree, because let's say Scorsese reaches out to you and says hey, I have this feature film, but I paid my actors and I don't have money for editor. Would you be willing to edit the thing instead of Thelma Schoonmaker? I would kill for it. So of course it's sometimes like, and you know, for me it would be like, you know, a feature film, but for some people that just like, you know, start on the editing journey, actually a good opportunity may come from, you know, from a corporate client even. So I wouldn't judge like, you know, anyone for taking on an opportunity to work for free for a project.
Under those circumstances, not at all. I think where it gets complicated is if you have a client that is taking advantage of that editor or that person and like, oh, you did it for this and this is what I want it for now. So it's not necessarily that person, that editor is lowballing the market to ruin it for everybody, or like that one free job is going to ruin it for everybody. But I think that there's definitely circumstances where it's more like probably like a predatory client that's taking advantage of the situation and kind of forcing that person, that editor, into a corner by being like, this is what it's always going to be. And that kind of falls on the shoulders of the predator being a dickhead, and then the editor not kind of like standing up for themselves and laying out, this is exactly what the expectations are and what I expect in the future, so that they don't get painted into that corner. But yeah, I would, if somebody came to me, even if it wasn't kind of with your situation, like a director came to you and was like, do this film, and you know, it's something that even though you maybe not get monetary benefit out of it, it's something where you're like, this is the first time I've ever done it, so of course I'm going to do it for free so that I get the, you know, the riches are the experience that you're getting for it. So, and that's, you know, in my opinion, just as good, or can be just as good as the monetary aspect of it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, non-monetary things may include, like, as you said, relationships, skills. So if you know that you will learn a lot, you know, during that collaboration, it also counts as, you know, as getting paid in a way. I mean, you still have to have something in it for yourself. If you do, then it's something you can consider. Like, working for free is something you can definitely consider. But I want to talk about, like, how do you actually, like, you know, recognize if a client is what you said, like, you know, if someone is trying to basically rip you off,
right,
or not. And that's not easy, but I think like the biggest thing is how they actually treat editing. Like, looking into what they think about an editor, what an editor does, I think may like give you a good conclusion. So let's say you have someone approaching you and say something like, oh, I have this project, you just need to drop these things on the timeline. It's very easy, you just drop the graphics I prepared, and it's just about, like, you know, cutting out the bad parts and putting it together as I scripted. And I don't have any money to do it this time, but I promise next time I'll have some money to do it. And there is a lot of work ahead of us, and, you know, we will collaborate like for years. It would be definitely like a red light for me, you know?
Yeah.
But when someone, because they are not like looking at you as like an editor, they are like perceiving you as a pusher of buttons, basically.
Yeah.
But if, on the other hand, if you have someone that approaches you and is like, you know, oh, I know a little bit about editing, but I've seen what you've edited, and I think you would contribute to this project I'm working on. But since it's like, you know, I don't know, a pilot or something like this, I don't have much budget to put into it, and I don't know how consistent it will be, but hopefully I can make it work financially in the future. Then, like, if I have conversation like this, when I have this feeling that they understand that editor is not a pusher of buttons, but someone who contributes to the story, to the film in a great way, I think this is a place where I'm like, okay, let's discuss, let's talk about it, let's see if there is something in it for me beside money.
Kind of how, I mean, the way that you pose those two different characters of like the predator and the ideal client is basically just based on honesty. I think that in your role as the client that has a pilot that doesn't have a budget is being more honest and being more upfront. Like, this is exactly, I'm telling you exactly what it needs or what I have, compared to the predatory client who's like, well, is kind of wishy-washy and a little bit vague with what they're exactly saying to you. And I think that's kind of, I mean, that's something that a person or an editor has to pick up on. So that's kind of like interrelationship and just picking up on those things, which unfortunately sometimes comes through trial and error. But yeah, it's definitely comes down to the language that the people are using and you knowing exactly what that they're showing you their full cards.
Yeah,
I guess you could say. That may be a bad analogy, but
I think it's a good one. But listeners will be the ones to judge.
Yeah. Email us if you think I could have used a different analogy.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got the rules. We've talked about, when it's okay to work for free and what to look out for, I guess. And the way we'll talk about it, I think, is like we'll talk about what to once you have this goal of of building that relationship so that eventually it brings money to your account. I think there are things you can do before, during, and after the project that contributes to that factor of someone wanting to hire you once they have a budget. Okay, so I think that's the way we're gonna do it. And the first thing, before that you do before even starting the project, is setting up expectations and rules. 100%. Basically, letting the client know what is your regular rate and regular way of working, regular schedule and things like that. How you like to operate in your editing suite, so to speak.
Right. There's definitely the expectations. And usually a corporate client or somebody who works for a company will automatically ask you for a rate card. Not unless it's somebody who's independent who doesn't deal with editors very often, are they going to not pose you that question, and they might ask you well, how much do you cost or whatever. And they'll use that language, or at least in my experience, I'll have professional clients be what's your rate card? And those who aren't professional be how much do you charge for this? And then you can basically proceed accordingly. Definitely highly recommended that you figure out what your rates are for day rates, even a weekly rate, and also hourly and weekends, and just have it ready so that you can just blast it off in an email and be this is what I do. This is how much it's going to be. And if you do other stuff aside from editing, like motion graphics, color, you add that onto it. So yeah. It's always being prepared. The expectations, that's what it is. It's managing those expectations and being honest about what you can and can't do.
Yeah. By the way, the second episode, I think, is the one where we talked about how to get paid more, in a way, as an editor. So if you haven't listened to it.
I think it was the third episode.
Was it the third one? Yeah,
I think Jim Cummings was the second one.
Yeah, so. You're right. Exactly. So the third episode, for anyone who wants to listen about it. And I think another thing that is very important before you even take on a project is to express your feelings towards it, basically, your passion towards the project. I think it's important that the client, from the very early on, they see you as someone who doesn't just do it for money, but basically finds passion in it. And if you communicate it to a client, to a director or anyone, to a producer or anyone, I think it speaks, volume about who you are and how you like to work.
No, for sure. That goes in with that human relationships of being applicable. That's not right, the word. Personable. And you had mentioned it before, I think, even in that episode. Maybe in the first episode that we did. It doesn't matter, whatever. But basically being being an advocate for whatever they're doing. Obviously, even if you're just doing it for the money, you're not going to tell the person well, your project sucks, I'm just doing it for the paycheck. You want to show them that you have interest in it, even if it's just little stuff. And not that you should lie about it, but obviously, theoretically, you'd be working on projects that you could go through without living in hell doing it. So, but I think that just comes with figuring out who your clients are and what you want to work on. So even if it is just for a paycheck, you should be what's the word? I can't think of the word right now.
I think it's
present.
Like,
you should be present. You should be present.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Exactly. Even that's a very good point, because as you said, like sometimes there are like things that you edit not because like you're in love with the project itself. You just want to, you just want to get paid basically. But even that, like, yeah, as you said, like being present, being like, ready to do whatever for the client. I think this is the attitude they want to have in an editor. And also, like this leads us to to the things you do during the project, like once you take on the project. So during the project, basically, I think it all like I don't want to talk about little details. I think like everything that you do during the project could be like summed up with a phrase: "Make yourself irreplaceable." Basically.
Yeah. You show your value.
Yeah, exactly. So how do you do it? You do your best, basically. You underpromise, you overdeliver. All these things, all these phrases, all to be cliche phrases, but all of them like are on point, I think.
Yeah.
Because what's the goal? The goal is that once you're done with that free project, and then they have new project where they could spend some money on an editor, what do you want them to think? They want your name to be the first one that comes to their mind, right?
Right.
And how do you do it? You're making yourself irreplaceable. Irreplaceable. Help me out here.
Yeah, that's right. Irreplaceable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'll keep reiterating this because it's kind of the basis of client worker relationships, or at least for us, where it's just that relationships, being honest, being personable, telling them exactly where you stand, what you can deliver to them, and being nice about it and being honest about it. And people will pick up on that, and they'll see, like we've said before, like if you're nice and people enjoy being around you and you're a good worker, you're going to be the first person that they're going to be looking up to do their next project or whatever. Under promising and over delivering, that's huge every time. It's always I can't think of any time where anybody would be disappointed by that. So,
That's right. I'm thinking about are there any other like very specific tips here that we could give to someone or ourselves, to make ourselves irreplaceable. Yeah.
I feel like maybe that's an oversimplification of it, because I think then after a certain point, we're just getting granular about it and just be like, well, because I make the best cookies and I bring them into the office for everybody, like that stuff it's an unfair advantage on top of that,
Yeah.
I bake cookies. Yeah. People love my cookies, and I'm a good editor. So bring that in, it's just even those little things. I don't know. That's not maybe a realistic expectation of what a client would have, but eventually when you get a relationship going, everything you do that's positive is just going to be piled onto your name as just like, oh, and Ricky does this or Peter does this, and that's why I work with him, because I know, and he's funny. He tells great jokes. So it's one of those things where at the very beginning, it's something where you're like very personable about it. You're a good guy. You're nice. You listen to them. You're present for the project. And then beyond that, it's just kind of like you're just upping the relationship where like you're kind of becoming friends with these people also. Like it shouldn't be, if you start getting into a company where you're working for them on a freelance capacity, it shouldn't be strange that you're also going to be having lunch with these people. And these lunches aren't going to be like work lunches where it's like, we're just talking about the project. It's just like, oh, what is it that you like to do? What do you do? And it's becoming more personal. And so that's how these relationships basically become even more strengthened, solidified.
And irreplaceable.
Yes, irreplaceable. So that value added on top of what you can do makes you irreplaceable. Those things are super valuable.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to not say so much in this, but I'm failing right now. I'm failing. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you do after the project? So let's say you did well, you did make them feel like they wouldn't want to work with anyone else. What do you do after the project? And once you're done with the project, and once you're positive they're gonna have the next one coming.
I would, and I know that you would, is you basically ask how you did. You want to get some feedback for what your performance was and to see if it can be improved to make your relationship with them, a working relationship, at least stronger, or like, how could we have done this faster? What do you think was good? What do you think was bad? What could be improved upon? And I think that helps in regards to showing that you are present, that you are aware of your working relationship with this person, and that you value what they have to say. And it's not just you're a button pusher or they are just a client. And that's another thing that makes you irreplaceable, makes you valuable in their eyes.
It shows that you care.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It shows that you care. And you want to perform better for them, for their projects, for their films, for their videos. So I think it's awesome. It's awesome thing to do. Do not wait for someone to tell you what you could do better. Ask them first. That's like a very simple rule. Anyone can implement like right now, today, for any client that they like finished working with recently. But technically also, technically, let's say, okay, you did all these things, you did them well, and now they are approaching you again, and they are asking you, okay, listen, we don't have, we have some money this time, but very little. Like, what do you do in this case? So, do you want to start?
Yeah, that's a hard thing. I mean, first of all, that's hard because you don't know who these people are. Off of one project, you should be able to get a good idea of if this person's a predator or if they're not a predator.
Yeah.
And you can kind of go from there. Like if they're going to come to you, I don't know, maybe you go on the three strikes or 3 times to be like, okay, the second time, this is a cool project. I like working with you. I understand your budget the budget stuff. Let's figure it out. And I can do it. And then you can proceed from there. But there's always the option of saying no.
Yeah. I actually have a little bit different perspective on it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, there are like 2 things. Like, first of all, if you did all these things that we talked about earlier well, then you'll be certain if it's someone who wants to, rip you off or not. You'll be certain. Because the relationship will be so like strong, and you will know them so well that you will have like the very strong feeling about either they're trying to rip you off or not. So that's the first thing. So whenever I get like mixed feelings, when someone is approaching me for the second time, if I have mixed feelings, it means I have to say no. Really, and I've learned it the hard way, not on free projects, but on projects that weren't paying well. Okay, so there was some money involved, but not a lot, basically. And I learned it the hard way because I said, okay, let's do it the second time, and it wasn't the money aspect, but I suffered with that, the collaboration, the way the collaboration worked didn't work for me, basically. And I suffered because of it. Like, in some way, I don't want to go into details here because it doesn't matter here. But, I think it's, if you get mixed feelings about a client, just say no. Just say no. But, in my opinion, there are, let's say you don't have mixed feelings. So in my opinion, there are just 2 things you can do. Either you say, okay, I'll do it for free. Again, you can do it again because it's something that gives you so much value that is not monetary, that you're willing to do it anyway. Or, it doesn't have to be for free. It can be with very little money involved. But here the value you get has to be very specific. You have to know what you're getting out of it, and it has to be something that really like contributes to you, to your life. And the second option is you're not negotiating with them. You're reminding them that these are your rates. Mm-hmm. You're coming back to that first conversation that you had early on, and you say, there's a printer. My wife is printing something from the other room. So
I could barely hear it.
Okay,
it's a great printer. Cool. Sounds like a great printer.
So you're reminding them your rates. Right. What is the usual rate you take, and you're just like not negotiating it. You're just setting out the reminding them about what are the conditions you work under, basically.
Yeah, the expectations.
Yeah, exactly. And if you did all these things that we talked about early on, well, they will find the way to find money. That's the way it is.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to, is trying to figure out, even if they don't have money and they're trying to figure out how to give you as the editor more money, or you, in a way, it's subjective. Where then, okay, well, do I want to work for these people a second time for less money again, because I think that this will pay off in the end and I like them? I mean, there is a bit of subjectiveness to it. And so, depending on where you are, like theoretically speaking, or I don't know, metaphorically, whatever, point. Like where you are, where you're like, okay, I can take this on and be fine with it. Or you're like, I don't want to waste my time. I love working with you guys, but I can't take something like that. I can't do that again. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to turn you away. And that shouldn't be closing a door. It just means like, for this project, I can't do it. But the next project, maybe we can do it. So, but that's a good thing to always, even if you have repeat clients, that you should be kind of setting the expectations each time. And usually, depending on how often you work with them, like if you work with somebody what I would call like 3/4 time, where like they're essentially like employing you almost full time, but you're not a full time, you're still freelance, then the expectation is consistent. Like they know, because you were just in a job and jumping into another job. But if you've got clients that are coming to you like weeks or months later, most likely you're going to have to reiterate what your rates are, or they might even ask you like, oh, can you remind me of what your rates are? And then you just, you manage those expectations accordingly.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add?
Okay, no, I think that's it. And if you do that, you will be a successful editor in the world of editing.
Hopefully. I mean, it's still it's a journey. Yeah, it's a journey. It is a journey. Career is a journey. Never know. Like building career is a journey. So, but I'm like confident that these things like work. Not that I mastered all of them, but I think they work for me. Like. I'm doing okay. I'm not doing great. There are like a lot of things I wish I would be doing better, but I'm doing okay. Like from the career point of view.
I agree. And to be honest, I haven't heard of anybody that had like won the golden ticket and was just like, I just did this one thing, and it was like, and here I am on my yacht, and I'm a video editor, and blah blah blah. Or like who isn't so freelance that that doesn't lead to like a full-time job. Like everybody that I know that is a successful editor or who is highly valued or respected does this exact same thing, where it's just like little things where like I had mentioned the cookies before, like stuff like that, or even sending out Christmas cards once you have developed this relationship, or, just like being that personable and being there, as we have said before, where it's just like making yourself invaluable and finding out what it is that sets you apart from the other editors, that unfair advantage. So like, I mean, we aren't like superstar editors in the way that we think of maybe like Simon Smith or Francis Parker or whatever, but we're still able to make a living on this. And, if you were to ask me what I am, I'd be like, I'm a video editor. Like that's my career. That's what I am. This is my dream job I'm working in. The same with Peter. Like this is what we are. This is what we do. So it's not from a place like, maybe this will work for you, maybe it won't. And it really depends on you as a person and how you interact with these people. But those things specifically that we're talking about in this episode will definitely, I don't think there's anything that's going to be like, that there is a crack in that you can be like, well, I don't know. It's kind of like wishy-washy what you're talking about. Like, I feel like these are concrete. Like, if you do these things, you definitely have success. So, I've said it again. Anyway, before we go on, we're going to take a short sponsor break.
Cuts to Reveal podcast is brought to you by The Editing Chef, a course for editors who seek to maximize their creative productivity and streamline the editing workflow.
The course introduces tips and techniques that will help you edit more efficiently and therefore make it more enjoyable. Plus, it will delight your clients and keep you passionate about our wonderful profession.
So if you want to learn more and save your spot, visit cuttothepoint.com/TEC.
And now back to the podcast.
So let's cut to the next section, because we're going to have a new section actually in the podcast today. Some
fun.
So
Not to say that the podcast isn't fun, but we're going to mix it up.
Ricky introduce the rules, but basically we want to have like some kind of like a, can you call it a film trivia?
Kind of a film trivia. It's definitely like a little bit of a game. Right now, since this is the first time we're doing it, I don't know if it's definitely film trivia, because it's not necessarily like asking you a question about specific films, but it's maybe like more of a general thing. So I guess it could be trivia. I don't know. We don't even have a name for this game. I was going to just call it 3 questions, which isn't very sexy sounding, but that's basically what it is. So the rules of it is that I have 3 questions and Peter has 3 questions for me and I have for him. And it can be specifically for movies and TV shows. And the questions are going to be simple. And it's basically going to be, I don't know, what's a good example? Can you think of one that isn't your question?
Name a film with a scene in an elevator.
So that it's going to be that. And then I have 30 seconds. We're going to put a time limit on this.
No, 10 seconds. Come on.
Oh, 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Okay, so we're going to go
10 seconds.
10 seconds. We have 10 seconds to think of a movie or a TV show, that is specific to that question. And it doesn't have to be like, we're not looking for a specific answer, as long as, I guess we need to know that it's an actual movie or a TV show. We can't like make it up. So within that 10 seconds, if we come up with something that we know of, then we get a point. And if we don't, then we get negative points. So at the end, there's going to be a winner.
Exactly. And the loser.
And a loser. There'll be a winner and a loser. Because not everybody's a winner in this game, people.
Exactly.
This is real life, all right? There are no safe spaces here.
although technically there can be a tie. So we'll see how it goes.
That's true. There could be a tie.
We can have like 0-0, for example. So
that's true. So that would be... But, okay, so then since this is a new game, will there be a tiebreaker? Does there have to be a winner and a loser?
No, not this time. We'll let people decide. So if you're listening to it and you want to contribute to how we do it, and maybe like send us a theme that we can feed our questions into, then send us an email at podcast@cuttothepoint.com, or I don't know, comment under the YouTube video for this podcast or anything,
or even on our Instagram.
Or even on, exactly. Even
and we might do this with, it's early days right now. So we'll see how this goes. But, we might expand this different, where we'll maybe ask our guests or bring people on to do it. So think about that. That's a very good idea. People out there in TV land, movie land, and podcast land. I don't know.
Hey, so questions. We need to toss a coin or something. This will do. It's a plastic coin. Something. Okay, with sign on it or a blank one?
I'll take blank, we'll call that tails, and then the other one with the sign on it.
I know, it's not a real coin, so it doesn't have
We're on a budget here, people. We're on a budget. We'll get some coins with heads and tails on it someday. All right, flip it.
So if you have blank, then you will ask me the first question, right?
Sure, that's fine.
Cool. That's not blank, so I'm gonna ask you first.
Okay.
So the timer, I'm setting the timer, 10 seconds. Okay, I have it here. And the first one is, I think it's easy, but let's see. Okay, so name a film or a TV show with time travel in it.
Oh my God. Shit. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Done. 8 seconds. Well done. 1 point.
All right. Okay. Here's I'm gonna throw an easy one at you. Name a movie or TV show with a dragon in it.
Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
There you go. Harry Potter. I'm drinking from my Harry Potter mug, so that's equally as relevant.
Oh my goodness, we are nerds.
So you can see that this is pretty easy so far. Maybe in future episodes we'll make them harder, but
I mean, the second one from me will be a little bit harder, I think.
Okay.
Do you want a hard one?
Yeah. Throw it at me.
Okay. So name a film or a TV show. I guess we'll skip that part later. With school shooting in it.
Is it White Elephant? Is that the name of the movie? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think you got it. I mean, I think it's a point. It's an elephant. It's an elephant.
Yeah. Or is it elephant? Is it just elephant?
It's just elephant. As far as I know, we'll have to check it actually. But fact check, people. Fact check. Yeah, it is elephant.
All right. Are you going to be keeping time for all the questions, or am I?
I will.
Okay. All right.
I will. Just give me a second. I will reset the timer. Okay.
All right. This is going to be a hard one, maybe.
Okay.
Name a movie or a TV show where the main character dies. Spoiler alert, in case whatever.
Oh, it should be easy. It should be easy. I'm over the time already.
No.
So, I mean, it is easy. Like
Negative.
there are many things that come to my mind. I'll go with Green Mile. I don't know if you can say that it's a main character, but yeah, Green Mile.
I guess he's the main character. Yeah, he's a main supporting character, but I'll count it. But you moved the time, so I won't count it.
Yeah. It's 0 for me in this round. I mean, it should be easy, so that's funny, That's funny because I've like it seems that the time pressure and it definitely like disrupts your mind.
This is serious, people. 10 seconds is no joke.
Okay.
The pressure, under pressure.
But you know what? The next one you will keep the time for me. Because
hold on,
I think that I got a
things.
little bit distracted with keeping time for myself.
Ready.
I have a few. Okay.
Just
I'll go
one.
with this one. I'll go with this one. Okay. This one will be, I think it's semi difficult. We'll see how it goes. So, name, blah, 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 where the main character is an actor.
Is an actor?
Three.
I don't know.
2, 1.
There's my timer. Where the main character is an actor. I can't even think one beyond the time now.
Really?
What were you thinking of?
Oh, Birdman.
Birdman. That's a good one.
Birdman, like another one, like Kominsky Method, TV show.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Oh, Barry. Barry would have been one.
I mean, it could be probably not. Adaptation is really like a screenwriter.
I thought of that too, but he's a writer.
Yeah, he's a writer, exactly.
That was a good one. That's 3 for me then? So this is the last question for you?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And I have a chance to tie you up or I'm losing.
Yeah.
And I'm loser today. Let's see.
All right. Oh man, I got 2 good ones. Keeping in the spirit of the season, give me a movie or a TV show with an evil Santa. Time starts now.
But Santa.
There you go.
That's
That's
an easy
good.
one. So
That was an easy one. But it's Christmas, so.
yeah,
There you go.
thank you for that Christmas gift.
So what are the scores, Peter?
2 Peter, 2 Ricky. Yeah, it's
So
a tie.
it's a tie.
Yeah,
It's a tie. So maybe in the future we'll have a tiebreaker. But
it could.
today,
I mean, I think you do have one more question there, and I have one more here. So,
really?
I mean, you
I
said
think
that
that
you
was
have 2
3.
questions there. You have.
I do. I have 4 questions in all.
Okay, so
I guess we're gonna keep
I have another
going.
one as well. Yeah, let's do it. Let's
All right,
do it.
all right. Let me get the
people
timer
don't
set
like
up.
ties.
People don't like ties. They hate them.
Name a movie or a TV show with a tiger in it.
The Life of Pi.
Done. 3 seconds. Well done.
I haven't even seen that movie. I read the book, but I haven't seen the movie yet. All right. This is it. Either we're going to tie or we're going to lose.
Go ahead.
Movie or TV show with an action scene in an elevator.
Actually, it's not that easy. I think Mission Impossible, I'll say like Ocean's 11. Ocean's 11. But I'm not sure.
Well, now I got to check it.
Yeah.
So is it Mission Impossible or Ocean 11?
Ocean's 11.
How would you even check that?
I don't know.
Is there an elevator?
YouTube. Ocean 11 elevator scene. I'm pretty sure, but I'm not like 100% sure. So let's see. Yeah, there is one.
All right. There we go. 4 questions. And it's tied. 3-2, 3-2.
What do we do now?
I don't know. We could probably keep going, but I don't have any.
Okay.
I don't have any more questions in my back pocket.
So let's keep it that way.
'Tis the season, everybody. So yes, but I thought that was fun. Hopefully, our listeners also thought it was fun because we're going to keep on doing this, whether you guys like it or not.
Exactly. So. I mean, the idea actually came up when I needed an idea for B-roll for a video I was editing, and I asked Ricky, help me out. I need a scene from a movie with an elevator pitch. And we were like, oh, that's difficult.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's where the idea like came from. So we'll see. Yeah. I mean, we can have more difficult questions. So yeah, it will be fun. It will be fun.
Maybe we'll have the 3 questions, and then it'll be like the first one's easy, and then it'll just the difficulty will increase.
Yeah, we could do it this way.
Anyway, I think that's it for this episode, which is episode 7. Obviously, we're recording this during the holidays, so hopefully everybody has a good holiday. They get presents or whatever, have good times with their family and friends and yada, yada, yada. Hopefully it snows by you. I'm hoping it snows by me. But yeah, I don't know. Anything else you want to add, Peter?
Not really. Like, Happy New Year, people. And, keep editing.
Yeah, shoot and edit like there's no tomorrow.
Exactly. Thanks for taking time out of your busy day.
If you like what you've heard, please rate, review, and subscribe on whatever podcast platform you've listened to this on. Your reviews help more people discover this show. You can also follow us on Instagram. Just search for @CutToReveal and tell your friends.
And if you have any questions or comments, send them to podcast@cuttothepoint.com, and who knows, maybe we'll use them in the future episodes. And as we say around here, until the next time, shoot and edit like there is no tomorrow.